and allocate the savings to emergency employment for the next 6 months. I have directed national agencies to undertake electricity and fuel-saving measures. Our targets include bring down consumption of fossil fuels by 25%, reduce electric consumption by at least 10%, turn off air conditioners at 4:30 except those with 24-hour work, gumamit ng fluorescent bulbs, imbes na incandescent bulbs, convert 20% of vehicles in major cities to non-fossil fuel users. Government vehicles not on official trips should be garaged in the agency office and the keys kept by guards during weekends and holidays. This coming Independence Day, we will forgo the annual parade, which usually costs 30 million pesos, and instead hold a mega jobs fair so that our workers, our 46,000 workers displaced by the global crisis, can find livelihood or employment. Indeed, the government, national and provincial, must pour all savings and revenue into programs that help the poor and the middle class. This includes more and more investments in education, healthcare, and infrastructure, which are well within the spending authorities of the provincial governments. And now that we have lowered the hunger rate, let us continue with successful programs. Let us also support programs for providing meals for our children in school. And I'm glad that Board Member Pacada mentioned your support for the early childhood development, because part of that is giving our daycare, preschool, and grade 1 children a healthy start with a nutritious breakfast. It doesn't have to be sumptuous, but it can be nutritious. Rice, malunggay, these are very good for nutrition. Also, we all have to work together at our different levels to help provide job and training opportunities for our young graduates. Because not only are we holding this convention during Women's Month, we are also holding it during graduation month. And there are those young graduates looking for a job soon. One of the things we're doing in the national government is that DSWD is doing a poverty mapping. And so, for enumerators to find out who are the poorest of the poor, DSWD is using the young graduates so that they have a job immediately. That is a few thousand of them, and I hope that you can also look for activities whereby you can mobilize the young graduates. We must tackle many challenges to keep our economy and way of life going strong. And on the part of government, national and provincial, we must live within our means and run a lean, efficient government. This includes, on the national and local governments, continued fiscal prudence as we, in the national government, together with Congress, which has the power of the purse and the power to tax, work towards a balanced budget. And all the while, we must also simultaneously invest in key programs for our people. We have our programs at the national level, you have yours at the provincial level, but over these past 8 years, we have been gelling our programs together, and I am very happy with that. On our part, the national government has increasingly invested in the growth of our local government units. Even in the cash-strapped early years of my administration, because I inherited a very sparse purse when I became president in 2001, we still took great pains, if you remember, to release your era in full, even if we had to sacrifice the national government spending. And we even paid the debt but previous administration owed to our LGUs. One of the areas in which you, the board members, have supported me was in the massive reforms that we made in taxes. In 2005, we made the most massive of those reforms, the value-added tax, which was at very great cost to my popularity. Not only that, it was challenged in court, but it was finally implemented in 2006. 40% of all internal revenue, including the value-added tax, goes to ERA with a 3-year lag in computation. So when we first implemented VAT, the expanded VAT, in 2006, the VAT went up by 100 billion pesos. And so now 3 years later, due to the 3-year lag in computation, this year, the ERA went up by 40 billion pesos. So maybe you're beginning to notice this big increase that you have to budget. So this year, you, the local governments, are reaping the benefits of my political sacrifice, but one of my consuelos is that the board members supported me during that period of sacrifice. And certainly, it will be doubly worth the sacrifice if you in the league take up the challenge, now that you have this big increase in ERA, to make sure that each province spends your ERA windfall prudently, not on trimmings, but only on strategic programs that will keep us growing in spite of the slump in the world today, and that will lay the foundation for sustainable growth, because that is indeed what a stronger Philippines is all about. So together, and I thank you for your resolution, it looks like we will continue to be together. Together, we can achieve our common vision, a strong and resilient Philippines. Because if each of your provinces, through your wise legislation, remains strong and resilient during this period of crisis, the country as a whole will be greater than the sum of its parts. And the strength of your provinces will be more than an equal contribution to the strength of our republic. Kaya sa inyong lahat, maraming salamat sa inyong suporta at naway magtagumpay ang mga resulta na inyong mga workshop kung paano palakasin pa ang inyong mga probinsya at ating republika. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat.